Well, today I'm going to do this lovely scene here of this river. Can you see this creek here? This river coming up here. But look at all these great colours. It's sort of just turning autumn, I think. Still greens here, but look at these lovely reds and yellows and russets, a little red and different greens. Got this little sort of yellow, bright, springy kind of green there. But if you look in the background, I've also got some of these firs, these bare poles, and the shape of that coming in there. And of course, I've got the challenge of doing the water, getting that right. I did try it earlier, a few days ago, on a small format, a sort of 7 by 8 or 7 by 10 or something, and I think I can do better. Well, I'm determined to do better, actually. Whether I will or not will be seen. But I want to take a lighter touch this time, try and keep these colours cleaner, and try not to do too many layers. But I'm going to have a go anyway. I thought, well, should I shy away from my earlier efforts and try something different? But I said, no, this is a learning exercise for me, so I'm going to press on and see what I can do. I've sketched it out, which is probably a little faint on the camera. It doesn't always pick it up. But anyway, I'm going to have a go. So I'm going to start with a little bit of a wash, because I want to get a little bit of sky poking through. A little tiny bit I've got, which will help silhouette some of these trees, these shapes. So I'm just going to get a little bit of I think cobalt blue, really, but I want it fairly light, because I want it to contrast with some of these trees. So I'm just bringing it down on a few places where we might see a little bit of the sky coming through. So I'll just leave that. And then we've got a whole bunch of other different washes that I need to do. So I'm going to work light to dark, although it's all fairly muted, all these greens. So I think I'm just going to try and make sure we don't have all the whites showing. So just use a little bit of colour that I've got on my palette there to start us off anyway. Right, here we go. That's a fairly lightish wash. We can put something darker right away up the middle. So I've got a little bit of umber and blues and greens, and get that dark in, really. Perhaps a little bit of Payne's grey as well, and it goes right up the middle of our composition, really. So we'll just put this in. I want to keep a few whites showing, or I'll probably put them in with gouache, but if I can leave some whites from the paper, this often works well. So, right, let's do that. Got that in, using a big mop brush here. So let's clear that out, and then we'll put in some raw sienna. See, I'm using a really big brush here. And they say it's good to stay with a big brush if you can for a while, as long as you can. Stops you getting bogged down in detail, which is not a good thing always. Right, got a little bit of colour up here. Yes, we can. I've got some silhouettes of trees to do. Actually, you can start to see my pencil sketches showing a little bit there. So I've got a little bit of sienna here. Yes, it's a little brighter, redder. Let's just get that in. I can drop a bit there as well. So I'm going to try and be fairly light with this. So I've got to perhaps let it dry properly and get some dry, harder edges in. When it's a bit drier, I don't want it bleeding. Yes, let's take it down a little bit of there. Put some ultramarine in with my umber there. I've got to get some darks established. Right. Okay, now what I want to do, I've got to get a lot of different greens in here. So we'll go, let's change that brush now, because I think we've got as much of a wash in as our first layer in. So I'm going to leave that a moment, and then I think I'm going to go to a sort of flat brush, or no, a filbert. This is a filbert, little rounded edge end on that, because I want to get some of these shapes of these conifers in. But this conifer in the middle here is a really lovely bright green, yellowy green. So I'm going to make sure, if I can, to get some brightness before I commit to putting on the paper. Let me get some cadmium yellow mixed with it. Ah yes, that's getting close to it. Right. This is just some of the lighter greens on this section here on the left. The light is coming in there. So let's see if I can get those in. Got more yellows here, yellowy greens, and right in this corner here. But I also want to change these different colors, and it's still quite wet there, so I'm getting a bit of a bleeding, little soft edges there. So I can do, and I'll put some darks in a bit later. And in the let's bring that greens down a bit more, because I want a bit darker on this side. down here and under the boughs. You'll see as I get there. And I've got different brown, different greens up here. So let's just try that. And some of them have got a little bit of blue as well. I want to set this one off from this, so we can go straight and try and bring some of these blues and darker greens in. I could probably do that now actually under these boughs to try and show the shape of the tree, and squint my eyes now because I get confused with all the details. It's a good trick to do that actually, and then you can help to find your way. I want to bring this down to this edge because this is a big shrub here, a big plant here, different colors, which we'll get to in a minute. Let's try and define some of the shape. Trying to be a bit disciplined, not just get carried away. Painting is quite an active process. It's a cerebral process. You've got to think carefully sometimes if you want to get on top of your subject anyway. Otherwise you just get carried away, and if you've got a target to get at anyway, if you're very clear about what you want to get, so you've got to steer your picture to that. And we've got a very big tree here. Again, coming down, try to keep some shape. Now I think just at this bottom area here, there is quite a dark passage, so let's step that up a little bit. Some ultramarine, a little bit of iridium, and try and delineate a little bit there. Let's get some blue in there. All right, got some dark areas in there. And now I've got to connect this somehow. So let's get some other greens in. I've got sap. Let's get some sap. Right. Right, let's step back a bit. Yes, I think I know where I need to so I get some shape. This plant I need, by negative painting, to put some dark in there. And I've got a dark, actually, should I put some different brown? Let's get some umber going here on some of these. Just using the edge of my brush here. I'm going to do some fine design for my plants a bit later. But let's get on with something out here in this area. I must keep it light, so I'm going to just use a little bit of dry brushing here to suggest some trees, and then we can draw in some branches. So just I'm keeping it a bit bluish because I want to push it back. But there's just about under here, again trying to negative paint that plant there, that light green. So let's try and swash some darks in here. That's it. And out just here I've got some fur as well, so let's bring that down. Try to suggest some of the shapes we have, and under here we can, let's get some ultramarine, Payne's grey, a little bit of sap, just to give us a little bit of colour there. Right, now we've got some firs out here. There's a couple of firs, so I want to try and leave a little bit of sky as well. Yes, we had a few here. The round of this shape of this filbert, that will help you get something of the shape of the conifer. If you angle your brush in the right way, and we put some, I've got to put in the main trunks in a moment. So let's leave something there. We've got some nice greens here, nice bright yellow, actually yellow green of a that's not working, hold on, let's get, it's a little bit dry there. So I've got some stiff paint there. Try and suggest some leaves here, and also along our riverbank here we've got some different greens as well. So let's change it again, put a little bit of crimson alizarin in there, and that will give you another green. Lots of different colours there. I'll use a rigger, I think, a little bit down the road to put in these fine elements. Now I need to bring that down. We need to get in our river as well. This is all very dark. And these plants on the right, they're overhanging. Our river goes into the distance up there. I'll just try to keep some horizontal strokes here, which I need. I think I can bring in a serious dark here. This is a sort of greeny, grey, green, blue, green, sort of a mixture of colour from my palette. But it's got to be a dark tone. This is the river here. I think we can bring in more here and a bit darker, I think. So back to the sap, Payne's grey, a little bit of blue, a little bit of umber, I think. Got that, take it down a little bit. Yes, I can do that. Then we've just looking, does it goes around the corner there a little bit of the river, so and here let's get some reds and russets going in these shrubs on the left here. They were certainly here. We could put a little old dab of red there. I've got some reds here as well. And some orange as well, which I want to get in a moment. But let's just put this in. And we've got some browns out there as well. It's a bit dirty. Let's get some more brown. Sort of reddy brown. And something dark as well. Bring it right up around these leaves, just sticking into our view. I think we could put some green here, viridian there, mix it up a little bit here. Again, I'll try and define some of the branches behind, but I think I need to get a different brush now. Yes, behind here I've got big tree there, but I don't want it too dark, otherwise it'll come forward, and I don't want it to come too forward because I want the eye to be taken into the picture, into the distance a little bit, but I need a little bit more definition on some of these trees. Right, I've got to put in those those big trunks, sort of light red colour they are really. We'll just got to ground this bit of the riverbank though. We need to do that. So I'm looking now, perhaps I ought to get and put those fine branches in before we lose it. So there are, what sort of tone? There's some brown, greeny colours. This one, yes, I can do that. There's a couple of, they come across this bit of our scene. And they come in here, so we get something a bit darker, so it, yes, we need to do that because it's got to stand out against these other colours, dark. So it's got to be something that will give you a contrast anyway. It's more about the tone really. As long as you don't have to be slavishly following it. Probably have to use a rigger in a moment so we can get some fine branches in, help it read a little bit better. But I'm looking now at my reference, they were quite dark actually in areas, so let's get a bit of a thicker bow in. They were there, certainly. While I'm here, I can look around different parts of your picture and see if you can use some of the colours. Yeah. Right. Right, I think we can put some light marks over that in a minute just to cover up the errors that I may have made in some of the trunks. Right, now let's get some, let's go back and see if we can, there's another little conifer here. A couple of them there. Again, we've got to try and mix and match. Under here, let's get some, bring that bit of the river. Help show where it goes. Now let's get some of those big boughs in there. This to the left of this. Yes, there was some like Douglas fir, really. A few of them there. Some of all the reds out here as well. And here we need to bring in more green up into here. And I want to put some firs in as well, if I can. I think I need a bigger brush. Make sure we've got some proper darks. So let's get a darker green and bring it in here. Right up under this bank, we need to do that. I can paint over with some thicker paint at some point. And we need to make sure we've got horizontal lines here so we can see the river. And perhaps I need to put something like that so it takes your eye around that corner. Like that. Try to keep some of these lights here. Now let's I need to get some green over the top of those Douglas fir, or don't know exactly what fir they are, to be honest, but and then of course the background, let's put a different green, negative painting of the between of them there. And as I said, we've got to get some green over there. There's a nice conifers here. Right, let's try and avoid doing too much. Now, what am I going to do with this? I I think maybe I should put some, use a fan brush. Actually, I need to put a few more details in a lot of these areas. And just over here was quite a reddish colour of trees. Put a little in here. But we need to define this plant here. There's quite a dark area there. Again, I'm just looking at the darks where they seem to help with the design. And I've got some darks under, as I said, under this fur. Let's get rid of those whites. I think we've got to just tickle them out with something. Yes, let's go back to that tree here. Yes, I think we can do that with a little stippling in for fairly dry mixture. Yes, I think that's helping a little bit. And here, what should we get in here? Let's get a bit of dry brush and a bit of yellow, a bit of brighter green. Now, what's the basic colour behind here? Let's dull out some of these whites, just too many there. Got to solidify, got to bring these two masses to meet with this, I think. But we need to put some more convincing shapes in here, actually, for this. Right. Okay. Now, perhaps I need to take a bit of that out. Too much white there. Let's get a very pale little dab of water over some of these whites. But I mustn't let it get muddy. It's the same issue, it's a constant struggle. But I think I need, yes, we need some more yellow here. Yellow under here. Let's emphasize that. And that conifer there. Yellow, quite a yellow blend. And here, let's get some, yeah, we'll just dab a bit of viridian as well. Suggest some different plant forms. But let's get some reds in now. Or oranges, I should probably say. Because there was some real... So I've got some cadmium orange here. So I'm just going to splodge them in here a little bit. Because there's a mass. I'm squinting my eyes and I'm just trying to see the colours. I think we can get some crimson alizarin actually in here, and some orange. So let me stand back a minute and think about this. I think I need to get in with a rigger and get some fine detail in. And define this dark as well. Much darker there. Darker under there, comes up under the bank. And bring some of the river bank here. Right, let's get onto that rigger. I'm painting fairly quickly because I don't want my battery to die on me, which it usually does. Let's see if I can define some of these. So I've got to get a little thicker paint. I'll put some different colours on these branches in a minute, I think. Some of them have got catching a bit of light, so I can do that. Yes, something like a rigger to give you a little bit of control. Some help that shape again. Right. Now let's get some reds. Let's go for some cadmium red on this rigger and see if I can do some. Yes, that is exactly what was out here. Some fairly defined plants with their stalks, I could see. So I've got to put in a mixture of different colours. Again, we can some textural marks. So looking back now, I need to put something in here. There's a bit of iridium there. Let's change it up. Let's get some violets, yes. Right, now, yes, I think some vivid yellow and orange, I think, in places where here. Try and change the color again, get some orange in there. Just dull it a bit. I've put some orange there with some sap green. It takes that green down a little bit, so it's not too lurid. I've got viridian, sap and hookers. So hookers is a great colour for mixing. Make all sorts of greens. Well, you can with all the greens, I guess, but I use it quite a bit. Just ground that a little bit. Different colours everywhere. Now, should I get onto some gouache? And actually there was a fern as well. I wonder if I could do that. Let's see if I can get the shape of one fern. I'm looking at them now. There they are. Sort of. Yes, we can try that. Just suggesting them, really. That's all we can do, really. You're not doing a botanical drawing. You try and suggest the shapes. There, a little bit. Perhaps coming over here where we got a chance to show it more, over the riverbank there. Right. Right, now let's get a bit of gouache, why don't we? And I've got quite a good bit of white there, which I think is doing the job, but why don't I step it up a little bit, just for help suggest some water, some movement. So let's have a little look. Might be other place, a few dashes here and there perhaps. Yes, I don't think I should do too much more really before I make a mess of it. I let it run away. So kind of get my little brush, make sure it's clean before I dab it in my designer's gouache. And I'm just looking while I'm doing that, I can see there's little bits of white on some of these ferns, plants here and out here too. And little bits here and there. And we've got a little bit catching on some of these boughs as they come up here over the river. Some of them are catching some light. I can see it now. So I try and do on some of them anyway. Right, I think there's a few, some of these little twigs, little branches are catching some light, so we can lay it over different areas. But the main reason for getting my gouache out was to try and give a bit of sparkle to our water here. Trying not to overdo it. So easily done. Horizontal needs to be horizontal to suggest the water movement and the nature water being. I think what I can do is get some more dark in this bottom right hand corner. Let's get a bit of Payne's grey in there, and let's put a bit of green with it now. That's a bit fierce. A bit of my sap and suggest a darker tones, and take this in to the riverbank a bit there. think so. A little bit out there. As I said, we want to suggest it's going around the corner. So let's leave it there. Right. Right. Well, there we are. I think I've just about done on it for the moment, certainly for my initial attempt. Well, I've still got the camera battery. No doubt we'll come back and do a few adjustments when I'm off camera, but it's good to have the constraint of the battery actually, because it makes me paint quicker and not be too laboured. I find with watercolour, if you're too laboured, it often fails. So let's remember that. Bit more contrast there on bringing that bit of ultramarine and a little bit of sap. I think make a nice darker green just to help define some of these shapes. Putting light against dark all the time is what I'm trying to do. Try and keep that shape though. Now I think I need to be darker here. It's getting dark in the gloom, the canopy of these trees here. So again, light against the dark there. Yep. Right, well, thank you for watching, and please give me a like if you appreciate my efforts today, or leave a comment as well. That's always good. Whether you think I've made any success there, or perhaps I should have done something. Anyway, whether you are a painter or not, your thoughts on it are appreciated. Thanks for watching.